Keep looking for ways to improve your composition. She's standing in the perfect place, in the last narrow aisle of sunlight. I took my first shot, but I noticed there were people walking towards me. If I gave them enough space, hopefully they will walk between me and my subject, adding an out-of-focus element to the composition that elevates the shot. Ciao guys! The short you just watched has more than 600,000 views. I bundled together all my street photography shorts and they have more than 2 million views. That's insane! Thank you for that. Now you can binge them in one single place. Ready? Let's go! Are $49 enough to start your street photography journey? To answer this question, I had a street photography session in London with this Nikon D3000, which is a 15 years old camera, 10 megapixel. Your phone has much more megapixel than that. And spoiler alert, yes, this camera can still take amazing photo. During the video I also compared some of the shots with a similar shot taken with the Sony A7R V or the Fujifilm X406. Can the Fujifilm X30 still take great photo in 2025? Of course, it's gonna be my go-to camera on the beach. When would you stop editing this image? 1. Fix exposure on their face. 2. Reducing the exposure of the background. 3. Creating contrast. 4. Faking sunlight. 5. Removing all the people but her. This is an example when gear matters, and without the Sony autofocus probably I would have missed the shot. I love this shot because it follows and breaks the rules at the same time. I use the rule of thirds, placing people on the right line. Switching to the golden triangle rule, the people are on the point of interest, but they aren't in focus and aren't the subject. By breaking the focus rule, I lead you to the focus point on the left, the man on the pink cover. The diagonal then guides you to the bright sign, highlighted by the bokeh of the lights. The real subject of this shot is my favorite record store in London. I spotted this beautiful light eating a painting inside a skyscraper, but I wanted more. 3 stories in one frame. So I waited for a bus to get my reflection, someone on the bus and someone walking past the painting. I needed luck, but I knew that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. When you find a beautiful reflection like this, make sure to align the center of your composition with the base of the glass. If you don't, you likely cut off part of the reflection and lose the full impact of the shot. Sometimes you have to break the rules to create something special. This first shot follows the rule of thirds, but it's flat and says nothing. So I changed my angle and placed him on the edge of the frame, isolated from the group. I also knew I could enhance the bit of light hitting his side to emphasize that contrast. I love this second shot because it tells a story. Side light, long shadows, leading lines, reflection, a beautiful background, and the shutter goes off by itself. I love shooting with my Fujifilm X-T30, but sometimes the best shot needs a different approach. A rainbow appeared over the beach. I didn't have a wide enough lens. Sure, I could have stitched shots together, but sometimes it's easier to use the camera that's already in your pocket. And honestly, this iPhone shot did the job perfectly. Do you want to take better street photos? Join my one-to-one session in London. We walk together through the city, read the light, dial your settings and try to capture as many moments as possible. This is one of my best shots this year. The subject sits just in the perfect place, with all the leading line converging on it. What the hell is that? If you want people to love your shots, don't explain everything. Curiosity makes them stop and stare and ask questions like, right side light here. If I shoot front lighting with the sun at my back, it goes flat, everything lit. But the dark pockets of this coffee shop create negative space, so the shot will still work perfectly, like in those 2 examples. But this time I'll shoot side lit, for a beautiful light to shadow fall off. When you arrive in a place, spend some time to understand where the light is coming from. And then if you have the possibility, always choose a side light or a backlit light for your subject. But at the same time, an interesting subject always wins over perfect framing. What's your name?
My name is Paul.
Nice to meet you, Paul. Last month, I took this shot with the X106. Today, I tried to recreate it with a 16 years old Nikon D3000. Can old gear still deliver? Full video soon, but here's a sneak peek. What do you think? Let's see how you can use 3 different focal lengths in street photography. 35mm shows multiple stories, layers, context. 50mm narrows it down, one scene, one story. 85mm, all about your subject, intimacy, focus, isolation.
Hey guys, you look great. Can I take a picture for you? And I can send you the picture. Yeah. Some lights.
You can go with what everyone sees. Or you can look for an angle or composition that few people notice. There is a big opportunity for a great shot here. Can you tell me what it is? We can use these traffic pole lights to frame our subject, add dimension and make the frame more interesting. Can you guess at what ISO this shot was taken? I was set up outside Liverpool Street Station, waiting for the perfect long exposure shot. Then I saw her, a beautiful woman, coming toward me, and I was sit down on the stairs that was leading to a beautiful lit arcade. I knew it was like an amazing shot. I had to react really fast. I had no time to remove the filter, so I cranked it down to 6 stops. I zoomed in to 17mm, and then I set the aperture to f4 to have more in focus. Eventually, the ISO was 12,800. But does it matter? Not at all. You can always fix the noise in post. You cannot recreate a shot when it's gone. Look for the contrast in your picture. It can be light and shadows, color, shape, or simply something or someone who completely stands out from the surrounding context.
Oh my god, it's always raining in London. Why are you laughing?
I'm a photographer.
How you focus on your subject in a crowded place. Once you grab the focus, press and hold the focus hold button. The focus will stick to your subject regardless of what happened around it. It's Sony's fastest lens. No matter what you throw at it, it delivers stunning images. For street photography, it isolates the subject beautifully, without compression or distortion. The bokeh? Absolutely gorgeous, drawing the viewer's eye exactly where you want it. And don't even get me started on portraits. It's razor sharp, yet incredible smooth in how it transitions focus. Low light performance? Unmatched in Sony's lineup. You can keep your ISO low and still nail the exposure. Need fast autofocus? This lens has you covered. Shooting into the light? You'll get stunning flares and beautiful rendering. Architecture, detail shot, no problem. I took this lens out many times for street photography. How I got this shot? I was waiting for someone to cross the street and eventually I captured this moment. First, I wanted a warm tone to enhance the building color and the light. She was a bit far for my 35mm, so I had to crop it slightly. To remove distractions, I got rid of the red jacket and this blue sign. Instead, I emphasized the tree at the end of the perspective. I also toned down the reflection on this large window and I subtly darkened the street before her to guide the viewer's eye. These were the key adjustments that shaped my edit. The Fujifilm X106 is a game changer for panning and long exposures. With IBIS and built-in ND filter, you can capture smooth motion with ease. Set your shutter speed between 1/8 and 1/15, then balance exposure with ISO and aperture. For stability, keep a firm but relaxed grip. Use the viewfinder for a third point of contact or tuck your elbows in for extra support. Move with your torso, not just your hands, and match your subject speed. Nail this technique and you'll get buttery smooth motion every time.
You need to train your eye to spot small details and to visualize the final shot. These restaurants look ordinary at first glance, but I noticed the fantastic light, the deep color of the building, the cozy atmosphere inside, and the beautiful street lamp perfectly framed between the windows. That's the power of seeing behind what's obvious.
It's 6 p.m. on London Bridge, peak rush hour. I tried 2 compositions, one horizontal, where the crowd walking on the bridge is more visible and the skyscrapers feel bigger due to compression. The second, vertical, using a parked bike to frame the scene and add depth in the foreground. Which one do you like more? When I find myself stuck and I can't get any decent photo, shooting in black and white helps me to reset myself and get back to the basic: composition, light and contrast. When I started photography 6 years ago, I tried to copy the great shot I saw on Instagram. But during the years, my idea of great shot changed quite a lot. Now for me what is important is to tell a story and to show in the world through my eyes, my feelings. And in order to do that, you need to practice every day, mastering light, composition, your tools, so that serve your vision and they don't get in the way. What matters to me is that if someone sees a photo and says, "Oh, that has to be Rox."
In the heart of the city, my eyes always find the still point in the chaos. First shot, him alone. It's all about his story. But then I remember the depth chaos brings. So I stepped back, went vertical, and let London's energy fill the frame. The layered has incredible depth, the clean, undeniable impact. But for me this time, the clean one tells the strongest story. Now it's your turn. Which one wins? Which one was your favorite shot? Drop the number in the comment. And as usual, if you enjoyed the session, like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!